Okay, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the continuation of our 18th season here at the Summer Gazebo Readings. Not bad. We look forward to continuing this on and on and on again. Again, I want to thank all of our program patrons, all of our sponsors, and all of our premium sponsors. I want to thank my fellow Kiwanians for all the work that they do. Many of them are in the back, including incoming President Eric Abbey, our current secretary who actually runs the whole club, Janine Badalamenti, is here. And we also have the director of the library, Chris Mara, and the president of the library board, Dan Faust, is with us here today, along with Janet Pearsall, who is also a board member, and Pat Roth as well. So we got a star-studded group out here today. All right, our first reader has read for us, although I think the last time you read was BC, right? Before COVID. It's been a while, and she got her visa, and she was able to come and cross the border and come to Nassau County from the city of New York. Ladies and gentlemen, Patricia Carragon.
Fantastic. Okay.
This mic, you don't want to stand too close. Stand too far.
Okay. Hi, everybody. The rain couldn't stop raining our parade, right? Okay, here I am, Brooklyn style. Most of my poems tend to be music oriented, especially jazz. I'm working on my manuscripts for my upcoming books. Well, probably 2025. Let me read the poems. Ruby, my dear. Ruby believed that the past lived in air particles, that walls had eyes and ears, a black and white movie invisible to all except her. Ghosts of former residents, battles and loveless marriages and family disputes, fruitless dreams of the Irish sweepstakes, breadwinners' salaries to pay bookies and barkeepers' rents. From the collapsed kitchen ceiling, a leak's a cappella rhythm banged inside a plastic pail. The voice of angry water sang about accumulated disrepair. Ruby's mama restrained her tears, a victim of systemic neglect. No family to fall back on, and her foster parents never cared. Her husband disappeared, left her to deal with life on her own. She had to be strong, had a daughter to raise, worked 2 jobs, long hours, menial pay. Sacrifice her daughter's needs, not enough to feed her landlord's greed. Government assistance had holes in its pockets, and she considered herself lucky to be eligible. She immersed herself in jazz CDs instead of crack. Monk would take the coal train, Grice would write his sax and more. Jazz from an earlier time named her daughter Ruby to honor Monk. Ruby studied her mama's expression, found strength in her eyes. She immersed herself into air particles, listened to the leak become jazz, let crayons recite her stories inside a thick spiral notebook. Begged hay to my father, Bluebird of Happiness. Dad loved Jan Pierce. On a Motorola turntable, he would play his favorite song, Bluebird of Happiness. Never versions from Jimmy Durante, Gracie Fields, Joe Stafford, and Gordon McCrae, or the upbeat jazz version from Betty Carter. Mr. Pierce would appease the beast within my dad. He would whistle along with the music. Behind his back, I laughed at the schmaltzy lyrics, sang a parody of the cast of characters, the beggar, the king, the jester, the peasant, the artist, the poet, the actress, even the ordinary schmuck on the street. Those ordinary words were just words. There were no bluebirds bringing hope to a child seeking asylum from loneliness, school bullies, and toxic opera on the home front. If there was a bluebird of happiness, it died when my brother pushed me into the record stand. Ancient relics of my parents' RCA and Decca black vinyl fell. Last rites were given on the floor or in the album sleeves. Dad showed no reaction when Mom reported the news. I guess he realized that the bluebird never came, and those words were just words to fill the abyss. Another one, jazz this decade to Kitty Callan. Little things mean a lot. Slow and steady, the old turntable waltzed. Her favorite chanteuse sang little things mean a lot. She never wanted diamonds or pearls. She liked it when he blew her a kiss or touched her hair. Little things meant a lot. A walk in the park, a love song at night, a glass of California wine. She would smile at dogs, feed the stray cats, let summer rain soak her to the skin. Slow and steady, the old turntable waltzed. Her favorite chanteuse sang little things mean a lot, but she was gone, and his grief had no place to go. Her cat kept time with the music, purring as she rubbed against him. He blew her a kiss, whispered, "Kitty, come to Daddy." The summer rain danced without end. It's from Melanie Dietrich, Solitude. Solitude plays film noir. The haute couture wears despair like satin pumps. She is Melanie Dietrich. Elegant black feathers cast a veil across her face. She walks beside me, extends in sunlight, moves inward at night. She is like me, can't survive without your support. She sits beside me, explains that not all firestorms are alike, that dark rainbows come in various shades of lies and abuse. Billie Holiday sings a silent prayer for you to return. The room's stillness collides with the one within. A storm brews between the past and present. Solitude argues with night, and the gap between logic and absurdity makes this room smaller than it is. Thank you. Mr. Bojangles. A raggedy man lived for music, and Nina Simone called himself Mr. Bojangles. Played jazz on his secondhand sax, tap dance for tips and smiles. He'd perform on his makeshift stage at West 4th Street for an underground medley of passing souls and flavors, both the good and bad. His silver cup sometimes overflowed, other times emptied by thieves. Some would listen, others would run for their train or walk to the nearest staircase. The raw trains competed with his sax, but not enough to quash its notes. Even local rats would stop and show their respect. He spoke with tears of Vietnam, his loss of friends to drugs and disease, his run-ins with the police, his life on the streets, his need to survive, his need to spread sunshine at West 4th Street. Yes, he would speak again about his life. Then break into another dance and tune. When he finished, I left a tip and boarded my train, not knowing that his sax and dance steps would be no more. Hair's getting in my face. Caution, inspired by the Killers, a pop group. Birthday wishes died at midnight when Cinderella ditched her prince. Her blacktop beginnings saw tarot swords march in 3s, 8s, 9s, and 10s. By cathedral doors, cautionary tales took root. By the promenade, a song rallied for change. Under mandatory incognito, she fought for her sanity through caution west of the bay. As seagulls flew around her, she raised her arms to the sun, lips in affirmation, found freedom when the mask behind her mask lost its grip, fell to the rocks below. Before I move on to the haiku, I'm going to have this last one for Sinead O'Connor. May she rest in peace. And also to my younger self. Feel so different. I feel so different from the child who sits alone. But she is not alone. I am by her side, but she can't see me, hear me, feel my hand on her shoulder. But she will be all right. I can't hug her, dry her tears, fight those demons that mocked her. I can't tell her not to worry about the harsh years ahead, and that wounds will be open unannounced at night. But she will be all right. I feel so different now, but I am learning to remember her, care for her, live for her, honor her, love her, because I am still her, and I will be all right. Move on to the cats. Haiku, I have the books for sale back there. I'm going to repeat it twice. On the second round, I'm going to lift up my hand, and you can repeat after me if you wish. Ready? Feline companions, cat ladies anonymous, men need not apply. Feline companions, cat ladies anonymous, men need not apply. Brooklyn felines, catitude comes with the territory. Brooklyn felines, catitude comes with the territory. Chelsea cat in black curls up, disappears up close. Trash bag in disguise. Cheshire cat in black curls up, disappears up close. Trash bag in disguise. Tuxedo kitten climbs that chain link fence, makes that Olympian leap. Yeah, for the Olympics. Tuxedo kitten climbs that chain link fence, makes that Olympian leap. When daffodils bloom, pregnant calico sashay down garden catwalks. When daffodils bloom, pregnant calico sashay down garden catwalks. And finally, Kerouac Kitty, poems unravel like toilet paper. Kerouac Kitty, poems unravel like toilet paper. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Kiwanis. Thank you, everybody. Books will stay on the back. Thank you.
Patricia Carragon. Okay, next up, as the wind starts coming in, Beryl Williams. See if I got the right height.
Thank you, Tony. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for bringing poets together locally and globally. This is an excerpt from a short story, and it's entitled Open Air Service. It's set in Dominica, where I'm originally from, and it depicts some of the really deep Caribbean humor, but set in a religious atmosphere. So, open air church service. Brother Deja, affectionately known as Brother Des, liked big words, fanciful words, words that would roll out of his tongue, words that filled his mouth and got his head shaking from side to side in intellectual satisfaction. Words like compunction, eschatology, salvific, vicissitudes, and so on. Brother Deja was a character of a guy who had an English accent, even though he had never been on an airplane and he had never left the island. The church youth, especially Randy, Malik, and Fino, got a kick out of Brother Deja's wordsmithing. It was a source of their hilarity. You could catch them in the corner of the churchyard after Sunday night evangelical meeting or Wednesday night prayer meeting, discussing and reveling in the absurdity of Brother Deja's vocabulary. It was on one warm night like this that after Brother Deja gave a big testimony, that the fellows devised a plan to interfere with his highfalutin preaching. They learned that he would be the speaker for the open air service on Thursday night in Point Michel. Well, look trouble. The appointed time came as the young people piled onto the back of Tonto's truck to drive to the open air meeting. The guys exchanged wicked winks followed by high fives and peals of laughter. Upon arrival, Toto parked his vehicle behind the big shady mango tree. He and the helpful conspirators chose the flattest spot and set up the PA system, the podium, and the few chairs. Randy put a chair at both sides of the podium. Phase 1 had begun. Fino was in charge of song service. Brother George strummed his guitar and singing filled the air. For some reason, the villagers were always excited when there was an open air meeting, so they came in droves. Fino led the choruses. A little more oil in my lamp, they sang. This train is a holy train. I'm on the battlefield for the Lord. The group sang lustily at the top of their lungs, and after a long-winded prayer and a special by the Prosper brothers, it was time for Brother Deja to preach. Randy placed a white folded towel on the podium for Brother Deja to wipe his sweat. That was phase 2. Brother Deja's topic for the night was, how hot is hell? Hell was one of his favorite topics. The fellows were smiling in anticipation as the congregation continued to swell all the way to Miss Faustina's front porch. As I said earlier, Brother Deja liked to use fancy words, especially when he was preaching. So the topic of hell gave him a lot of leeway. Well into the sermon, he was gesticulating and shouting about avoiding the fervid conditions and using all kinds of words. That made the people feel hot, even though there was a nice breeze from the seashore and they were in the shade. Sweat started running down Brother Deja's forehead. On the closing end of his pontification, Brother Deja riled up the crowd with a unique rendition of I Want a Revival in My Soul. He was crescendoing toward the altar call phase of his sermon, of course, when he reached for the small white folded towel to wipe the sweat off his head and face, just as he started calling folks up to the altar to avoid the terrifying hell he so vividly painted. To his and everyone's utter amazement, out jumped a small green zandoli that had been resting snugly in the folded towel. If you don't know, a zandoli is a lizard. The zandoli seemed more startled than Brother Des. As he jumped and screamed, the green creature made its way down his neck into the back of his flowered shirt. The zandoli was fighting for its freedom, while Brother Des was trying to stop the wiggling, offending creature from running up and down his neck. And to make things worse, he continued singing while waving his hands in desperation and screaming in frightful agony until he was reduced to a writhing heap on the ground. Some people in the congregation thought he was getting carried away in the spirit of his preaching. Fino bent down and grabbed the mic from Brother Deja as he led the congregation lustily into a hysterical version of Roll, Jordan, Roll. All of a sudden, the collective laugh of the congregation became louder than the singing. If looks could kill, the expression on Brother Deja's face was one that clearly stated that Malik, Fino, and especially Randy were headed straight for that scorching, sweltering place of torment that he just preached about. The fellas fled to the back of a garage, and Tonto, Brother George, and some villagers held Brother Deja back from breaking one of the 10 commandments. Randy, Malik, and Fino had pulled off a successful covert operation. For years afterward, they would revel in the saga of Brother Deja's encounter with the Zandoli at the open-air church service under the mango tree in Point Michel. The villagers who were there swore that the Zandoli looked back in annoyance at everyone as it flashed its yellow dewlap before scampering away. It appeared that Brother Deja's dedication to preaching was far greater than the embarrassment of the Zandoli incident. His preaching got even more fervent and fiery. His vocabulary continued to be peppered with bigger and fancier words. And needless to say, That green Zandoli, it was never seen again. Thank you. And because I'm from the Caribbean American Poetry Association, I'll do a Caribbean poem. I'll just do an excerpt of it, and it's dedicated to my best friend since we were 9 years old, who passed away on May 29th. Her name was Cheryl, and my name is Beryl. So we were always like the two, Beryl and Cheryl, up to no good, up to mischief. The name of the poem I'm going to do is The Games We Played. Can Annie and Agnes come out to play? Rita, Cindy, we ready? And like magic, they're running from every corner and crevice, from the lane and from deep in the yard, the children coming to play. They start digging the dirt for marble hole. Jeffrey have his big bag of clear marbles with the rainbow swirls inside. I shooting first. No, 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 you always want to go first. It's my turn. A little further up, Marie and Zina doing their specialty. They're drawing hopscotch squares with yellow chalk from Teacher BB's box. Everybody stopped by the pipe in front of Ma Maggie's house to wet their newspaper to start the game. The boys from around the savannah come to tease and cheer and jeer. Go back and play all your cricket, man. No, it's soccer we're playing. Let's skip. And then one of the girls call out, let's make a ring. And he saw the dancing start. There's a brown girl in the ring, tra-la-la-la-la. And we girls show our calypso motion until we're tired and hungry. Ma Tebow stick out her head out of the window and she said, children, you're not going home for lunch? But we already start. Auntie, tread your needle, tread your needle, tread your needle. Auntie, tread your needle. Long, long, long. Everybody run inside their house to go take a bath, eat some fish, wash it down with some squash, only to come back out to play and play and play. Thank you. And then, what poet doesn't think of the moon in summer? So this is just a whimsical poem that has some musings about the moon, and it's called Full Moon. Oh moon, full and bright in the summer sky, thing of celestial dreams, object of astronomical pursuits, I stretch my hand to reach for your surface, to scratch the possibility of your potential. Tell me, O luminary of the summer sky, how did the cow jump over you? Is such an awesome feat possible only in the nursery rhyme world? Does that world of widened-eyed dreams really bring you just a jump away? But there you are tonight, appearing so close, a spectacle of bright possibilities, so seemingly arched for my ambitioned hurdles. I take the leap, only to realize I'm no feather-weighted cow. Life is not a nursery rhyme. You are perched too far up in the sky. Oh, moon, you are out of my reach, impossible to jump over. Thank you.
Beryl Williams. All right, moving right along. So we wound up with a beautiful night, huh? So it turned out, so the weatherman lied. That's this time they lied in our favor. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Ellen Pickus. You're all good to go.
Thanks, Tony. Thank you, Angela. Thank you, people from Kiwanis and the school. Thank you, sister readers. Beryl, you're right. I do have mention of a poem, coincidentally, in my first poem. Summertime. I promised Tony poems appropriate for a summer evening outdoors. Okay, summertime. Let's dine al fresco in the garden. I'll make all lemonade. The meal's a deal, a real bargain. Winter dues have finally been paid. Blue skies make a lovely ceiling. The sun makes a stunning chandelier. The shade from the oak is sure appealing. Who needs more to give our hearts some cheer? Peonies arrange themselves for viewing. The purple iris eye will catch your gaze. The coffee is ready for the brewing. How I love these endless summer days. Blueberries in a bowl are on the table. The red tomatoes plump and flavorful. Enjoy the freshest fruit while we're still able. All this joy won't stop the clock's strong pull. The days are long, but soon they will be waning. That's sweet while time's still on our side. Howling wolves are foolish for complaining. The fleeting moon's just part of our great ride. Oh, okay, I'm staying closer. What I won't be doing this summer. Balance on water skis. I no longer have the knees. Ride a wave. Learn to surf. I'm grounded forever, bound to earth. It's not that I'm afraid to fail. It's only that my bones are frail. The hip and spine have flawed design. My lung capacity lacks tenacity. I'm forced to face the awful truth. My back was stronger in my youth. Now that I'm older and far from shy, I'd really love to give it a try. I don't give a hoot if I'm not at my peak. If I look awkward, uncool, unchic, oh, where is that perfect wave non-athletes seek? The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. This one's for Robbie. You know what a pun is? It's the lowest form of humor. So this one's called the lowest form. I'm a sucker for a pun. They're fun. Just ask my son, who discovered them young. On his tripping tongue, a clever retort to the weather report. Sonny, like the dog. He thought that was funny. The dog's name was Sonny. A love of the absurd, a taste for twisting words. I hope I've made you groan with a corn pone poem, or maybe made you smile with this memory of my child. One of the benefits of living on Long Island is having New York City so nearby. And this is called We'll Meet at the Met. We'll meet at the Met on a Sunday. See you and Sarah there. Time at the Met is a fun day. Can't wait for my favorite Vermeer. Any day's good. Open Mondays, a modern day wonder, so near. Art from the heart is always a part of a day in the city, my dear. We'll marvel at marble from Athens. Gorgeous physiques don't grow old. We'll laugh at the gods' human passions as ancient myths get retold. Zeus is unloosed with all maidens. Diana won't follow the fold. We can run from the mummies and go fill our tummies with lunch at our favorite cafe. We'll step up the stairs to Old Parry. Is that a Manet or Monet? The light on blue skies and green water captures the magic sun ray. There's Renoir's rosy-faced daughter, caught with her mother at play. Art from the heart seals forever the part a moment of joy can display. This one's for the people out there who crochet. This old lady can crochet. Don't mistake her for cliche. Watch her fingers fly so nimble. Watch her toss away her thimble. She risks pricks upon her thumbs while her sweetheart's guitar strums. Diamonds form beneath her hands, not upon a wedding band. This old lady can crochet. She knows how to fill her day, making gifts for her lover. She attends to every cover. This old lady can crochet. She keeps the blues far away. Listening to a dirty book, she makes him sweaters with her hook. This old lady can crochet. She never tires of work that's play. She catches every joke he pitches, keeping happily in stitches. This old lady can crochet. As well as crocheting, I love baking. So there is a refrain here you'll catch right on. Feel free to join me. Babka. There's butter in the batter. There's butter in the top. There's butter in the filling for the taste you like a lot. Baking babka for your birthday. Bop, bop, babka for your birthday. Butter's in the batter and the chocolate's bittersweet. When you add some sugar, it can't be beat. Put some nuts right on top and now the cake's complete. Baking babka for your birthday. Bop, bop, babka for your birthday. Time in the kitchen is time well spent. The scent and flavors are heaven sent. The oven keeps us good and hot. This dish will really hit the spot. Baking babka for your birthday. Bop, bop, babka for your birthday. A bit of sweetness can never hurt. There's some more pleasure planned after dessert. Come give the cook a kiss and hug. Baking is my favorite drug. Baking babka for your birthday. Bop, bop, babka for your birthday. Yes, I am having a friend set that one to music. This is, tell me if this is still true nowadays. Mother's song when she's looking for a wife for her son. She must be strong and young and pretty, healthy, kind and wise, reticent, but witty, 'cause my son deserves a prize. She will be lovely to her family, but spend holidays with us. She'll do the baking and the laundry. Earning big bucks is a must. She will bend to all his wishes, still strong, but meek and sweet. She'll cook up fancy dishes. A vegan, she'll roast him meat. She will always watch the kiddies, help with homework, sign the tests. She'll never complain to biddies, and she'll never need a rest. He will come home from the office to a house that's neat and clean. She'll greet him with a cocktail, forever sexy, smiling, lean. She'll stay young and strong and pretty, 'cause she wants to keep her man. She'll adore him and his family. Can't wait to meet this girl I planned. And this was a fun project during COVID. Armani. I dream about wearing Armani. A woman of glamour am I. I sit by the runway at Milan, Anna Wintour by my side. The suit that I wear is Armani. Likewise, the smart hat with the brim. All eyes are on me in Armani. I smile like a queen, slim and prim. I dream I am all in Armani. His necklace caresses my breast. Some rings on my fingers are diamonds. Emeralds cover the rest. I dream about wearing Armani, a lady of fashion to all. My pictures in all of the papers after every charity ball. I dream of a man in Armani with his arm linked sweetly with mine. The silk of his suit feels lovely, and his looks are so divine. My wedding gown will be Armani. The groom will be sincere. I love to dream of Armani because life is so boring here. Okay, we've all heard of Taylor Swift's Eras Tour. Yes? Well, this is my Errors Tour. I get things wrong all the time. Mistake numbers till 97 is 79. Reversals of fate as well as signs. Unlike some numbers, I'm not in my prime. I failed to read directions carefully, drive whole miles instead of a tenth. I guess I missed the point. I've put too much salt in a recipe. I'm wounded. Rub it in. Send contests the wrong line count. Disqualified for my sin. Blame my glasses, but in truth, I didn't put them on. Forgot. I mishandle situations, misread motivations, misplace invitations, misconstrue complications of plot. I miss a lot. Thank you.
Ellen Pickus. I'm enjoying the readers so much, and they're coming in right on time, and so that's why I'm sitting in the back. You don't see me lurking around here. Really, really wonderful. Next week we have four wonderful readers coming. Oceanside own Ken Kunkin, Bernardo, Doreen Spungen, and Robert Savino will be here next week. So it's another all-star week. So coming up now is a woman who helped us when she was the poet laureate. She did some programs for us at the library. It was really a great evening, especially that one where we had all the kids come and read. Lorraine was wonderful. As always, ladies and gentlemen, Lorraine Conlin. Okay, not too close because it makes sounds crunchy, and if too far away, you'll see me.
And if I sting,
Sing away.
you don't want to hear that.
You don't want to hear me.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Kiwanis. It's a pleasure to be back here. Last time I was here was June 6, 2022. So happy to be back again on this beautiful night. Okay. Usually I read mommy daddy poems. I'm going to read some different ones tonight. Zest of Summer. Bells jingle in the distance, our cue to begin a round. Dottie loves Terry. Pouty, kissy-faced, Sue and I mimic lovers, taunt and tease Sue's teenage sister. Dottie smiles, fluffs her hair, ignores our antics. She spent the morning squeezing lemons, making lemonade, clock watching, waiting, counting hours, minutes, seconds. When the ringing nears, she opens the freezer door, releases clouds of frosted air, a tall glass of her afternoon delight. We run out the door shouting, screaming for ice cream, form a fidgety line behind the truck, impatient for our popsicle fix. We sneak a peek around the wheel well, the good humor man's hand on Dottie's hand, drinking, quenching his thirsts. We're all sitting here after the pandemic. We're sitting out in the open and we're not afraid of germs so much anymore. This poem is called Immunity. Yearly checkups as a child, Dr. Hofmeister, looking for germs, said, "Open wide, ah," and with his gloveless hand, pressed a wide stick against my tongue until I gagged. His chubby face, so close, I smelled the cigar smoke on his mustache. Back then, I drank from a garden hose, played on swings and monkey bars set in concrete, slid down unsanded cellar doors, explored musty basements, dusty attics, vacant lots. I sucked on a jumbo glass-eyed marble like a jawbreaker until game time, scratched circles, hearts, and initials in dirt with a rusty open old penknife, used the dull blade to share apples and pears. We ate berries and grapes from wild vines, swapped spit with every kid on the block, and never, ever got sick. Never missed a day of school until after the tonsillectomy, the procedure they told mom would prevent me from getting sick down the road. We used to have a lot of fun and street games in my youth. Good old fun. Sidewalks were our gallery, white chalk, some bottle caps, games like hopscotch or potsy, red balls and silver jacks. Stoops are mini stadiums for songs and guessing games. Simon Says or May I, some didn't have a name. Alleys for playing ball and games of hide and seek, ollie and free, where players got to sneak. They have no comprehension. We're bored, our kids now say. Where are the stoops and alleyways like those of yesterday? In a workshop, someone suggested that we write about our first job. So this is my first job, called The Closer. Because I was the tallest girl in the class, my first grade teacher, Sister Justin, thought I was mature, reliable, asked if I could serve as her assistant during morning and afternoon breaks. Honored to be chosen, I listened carefully to the do's and don'ts of the position, her expectations, and compensation for my first job, the opportunity to impress the other kids. I was to stand in the center between the 3 stalls in the girls' room. And when a classmate came out before another could go in, I had to make sure all was clear. At 5, I was in the business of taking care of other people's business. Following up on the poor potty habits, those who didn't mind theirs. I got rid of stuff others left behind. I was the flusher. When I told Mom, she was horrified. She threatened to call the convent and complain to Mother Superior. I begged her not to because Sister thanked me so much. And on the first day, rewarded me with a candy bar. The others had to pay for a nickel. The first reel-to-reel film that we saw was also in the first grade. This is called Duck and Cover, 1952. We watch an animated film, a turtle walking along, smiling, smelling a flower, then boom, an explosion, and he shrinks into his shell, safe but shocked, afraid to come out. Each time he disappears, a man with a deep voice says, "Everything in life is dangerous." Tells us if we don't want to get hurt, to be alert, protect ourselves at the first flash of a blast. A 5-year-old, a first grader in Catholic school, paralyzed by the screeching sounds of an air raid siren. I fingle a metal dog tag made for us to wear. Wonder if I will survive if vaporized. As classmates scramble and sink beneath their seats, I hear Sister Justin saying the rosary aloud, praying for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen, and the drill ends. Each year, new threats, and I am still without a shell. First confession. Every time I look at the photo of my first communion, I remember the third grade and preparing for the big day. Sister Regina going over venial and mortal sins and the possible punishment, the penance for having committed them. None of the sins seemed to apply to me, since Dad always said I was his little angel and could do no wrong, something Sister never seemed to agree with. Yet, after examining my conscience, I thought about the times I lied to Mom and Dad about my homework. I decided I did have something worthy of confessing. Some small, safe sins, most likely to get me absolutions with very little penance. I memorized the necessary prayers for my reconciliation on the Saturday before Communion Sunday. The hardest was the act of contrition, a prayer professing sorrow after confessing to the priest before saying the penance. I walked home in what I believed to be a state of grace, thinking about what would follow on Sunday, my frilly white dress, lacy veil, bouquet of flowers, new gold cross, the well-rehearsed procession into the church for high mass, studio and family photographs before the big party, a cake with my name on it, commemorating the blessed day. As I turned the corner of the street, I suddenly remembered a sin I forgot to confess. I raced back to the church for a do-over, but not a soul was there. Fearing God as we were taught to fear, I sat on the cold stone steps beneath the cross, said another act of contrition, a few Hail Marys, an Our Father, and just to be sure, I added an Apostles' Creed. The self-prescribed penance wasn't enough. I screamed Sunday morning when I looked in the mirror. Mom came racing in and assured me it was hardly noticeable. It's just a sty. She lied. Her it won't show in any of the photos did. In every portrait, every wallet-sized remembrance print sent to family and friends who attended and gave me a card or a gift is what I still believe to be that forgotten sin. I think now I'm going to the day the music died. In 1959, I was in the 7th grade in the Catholic school. I listened every night to the hit songs played on the radio and learned to dance with my girlfriends in their basements. I just started to notice the cute boys in my class. I was 13. The first year I tried so hard to fit in, copied hairdos from teen magazines and trendy TV shows, wore stylish clothes and shoes when I didn't have to wear a burgundy uniform, starched white blouse, bow tie, and ugly saddle shoes. I'd race home from school, tune in to American Bandstand, turn up the volume, and watch the way the regulars dressed and danced to Dick Clark's weekly top 10 playlist. I knew the words of every song and who sang them. I gave Mom a wish list of songs, hopeful she would buy them. She surprised me with 1 or 2 each time she shopped, and she bought a few small adapters so the 45s could be played on Dad's stereo when he wasn't listening to his LPs. On February 3rd, when the WMCA DJ broke the news, Buddy Holly, the Big Bopper, and Richie Valens were killed in a plane crash. I remember how I cried myself to sleep, hugging my pink transistor radio. Our local paper ran the story the next day with photos of the 3 young men beneath the bold headline. I cut out the triptych, tucked it into the plastic holder behind my bus pass as a tribute to the men and music that made me smile in the innocence of my youth. I don't know if everyone could see this picture. It's me in a dancing school costume. So that's the next poem, maybe the last. It's called I Took It From the Top. A dancing school photograph waltzed me back to 3/4 time. Clunky tap shoes on my 7-year-old feet, learning a new dance for the recital. Chubby and clumsy, I couldn't do the steps of the waltz clog. Miss Liz, my teacher, demonstrated them, wrote them down, told Dad to make me practice every day. Dad, patient and reassuring, helped me up when I'd fall on the floor. Stop crying, just take it from the top, he'd say. On the stage in a frilly gingham dress, eyelet lace bloomers peeking beneath the hem, cameras flashing, I smiled. When the elastic of my petty pants snapped during a turn, fell down around my ankles, I froze and began to cry. Miss Liz, standing behind the curtain, witnessed my wardrobe malfunction, yelled, "Dance out of them, take it from the top." And I did. I'm going to close with a funny one. Everyone wants to fit in, no matter where you go, no matter how old you get, you want to fit in. So this is my fitting in poem. Boys liking girls with big breasts sent me crying to mom. When words can't uplift, she offers a pair of foam rubber falsies underneath my bra. The erectile nipples look real and spectacular. Things improve, but are far from perfect, like my once flawless reputation. Seems I don't feel fondling during slow dances, and I'm labeled easy, but cold and unresponsive. On a date with a lifeguard, I tucked the far breasts into my bikini top. I jump off a high dive. The buoyant B cups pop out, surface before I do. I quickly scoop one in each hand and breaststroke out of the pool. Pray no one notices. At a beach party, out of the water for hours, I press arms tight around my bust. Water squeezes out, gushes down, puddles at my feet. I change my look, wear ruffled blouses, baggy sweaters, empire dresses to enhance my bust line. I learn non-contact dances, the swim, the stroll, and the twist. I toss my foam rubber falsies into a bucket. My brother's friends use them to wash mom's car. They make great sponges. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Thank you again for having me, Tony. Good night.
Lorriane Conlin. All right, let's hear it for all four of our readers tonight. A great night, beautiful night. Exactly what this was made for. All right, tonight's winner of $35 is Beryl Williams. And who says poetry doesn't pay? Who says that? All right. Now the next tickets go in the grand prize at the end of the year, but you get nothing tonight. P. Brown, you get nothing tonight. Patricia Carragon, you get nothing tonight. And Conlin, you get nothing tonight. And Patricia Carragon, you get nothing again tonight. You get double nothing, but you all go into the grand prize drawing. So hopefully one of you will win something. Thank you all very, very much. Thank you for a wonderful evening. Thank you, Kiwanis. Thank you, friends. Thank you, the library board. And we look forward to seeing you next week.